Okay, so year 10, we've got a fairly long video here to give you a range of skills that you might expect. It's not comprehensive, but it's a good range. Okay, so, excuse me. So you'll be pausing. Excuse me. So pause the tape and we'll just go through each page as we go. Do these first two questions, and when you're ready, come back live. Okay, so again, depending on how your teacher shows you, we've got to isolate the A. So the first step we do is going to move the -3 across. So it's going to be 2 plus 3 equals 5. And then to bring the last 5 across, we'll divide. So the first answer is just 1. So A equals 1, which you can check in the original equation. Next one, got brackets, so we'll do expanding the brackets. So 2n plus 8 equals -5. And take the 8 across, so that'll become a minus sign. So -5 minus 8, which is -13. And then to get rid of the 2, divide. So that answer's right, but you could have -6.5 and you could have -6.5, but fractions are okay. Okay, so let's move across, do more equations. Okay, so again, we've got more equations. They're all linear equations, so there'll just be one answer. So pause, and when you're ready, come back. Okay, so expanding the brackets, 4y plus 8 equals 3 minus 3y. So I've got to bring the y's to one side. So I'm going to take the y's to the left, and then the numbers will go to the right. So the next line, 4y is first, minus 3y becomes plus 3y. 3 hasn't moved, and plus 8 becomes -8. So 7y equals -5, and then take the 7 across. So that's your answer. Now in this next one, depending on how your teacher's shown you, we've got denominators 3, 2, and we've got a 1. So the lowest common multiple is 6. The lowest common multiple, lowest number that all three numbers go into is 6. So that means we need to double the first number, we need to triple the second number, and the last number has to be multiplied by 6. So we're saying 3 into 6 goes twice, 2 into 6 goes 3 times, 1 into 6 goes 6 times, so we have to multiply by 6. Your teacher might show you different ways, but you'll end up with eventually 5x equals 30, and divide by 5. So you end up with 6. Okay, there's different ways, but I always go to lowest common multiple. Okay, moving across. Okay, we're looking at simultaneous equations. So we're going to look at elimination and substitution. Graphical is a legitimate method, but you asked to do these ones. Okay, so pause, and when you're ready, come back. Okay, so elimination means we have to eliminate one of the letters. Now, if we were going to eliminate x, we'd have to go up to 6x, which means that both equations have to change. But it would be easier to eliminate the y's because we just have to get up to 2's. 2y would be the common. So let's number these equations, 1 and a 2. So the first equation's okay. It's got a 2y. And then the next equation will be equation 2, and I have to double everything. So I've got 4x plus 2y equals 22. And if you want to, you can call that equation 3, and that's still equation 1. And now the y's are ready for elimination by addition. Okay, so we're going to add because they're opposite signs. So we get 7x equals 28, and so x equals 4. And then find y. So substitute into, doesn't matter which equation, we'll do 1. So 3x minus 2y equals 6. 3 4s are 12, minus 2y equals 6. Minus 2y equals 6 minus 12, which is -6. So y equals -6 over -2 equals 3. So x equals 4 and y equals 3. So if you need to check, you have to check into the second equation. So I'll just check into equation 2. Okay, so 4 4s are 16 plus 3 2s are 6 equals 22, which is the right answer. So we can move on. Okay, next one is substitution. Okay, so what we'll do is just number the equations and have a go when you're ready. Okay, in the second equation, we can isolate x. So x will equal the 5y goes across, makes it a plus, and 17 is still 17. So then we sub that into, so that's from equation 2. So from equation 2, x equals 5y plus 17, just making sure you know what I'm doing. So minus 5y goes across, becomes a plus 5y. And then what we're going to do is we'll sub into 1. So we've got 3 lots of 5y plus 17 plus 2y equals 0. Multiply out 15y plus 51 plus 2y equals 0. 15 plus 2 is 17y. 51 goes across, becomes minus 51. And that gives you minus 3. So that's one of your answers. And therefore, x, which is 5y plus 17, is minus 15 plus 17 equals 2. So x equals 2 and y equals minus 3. And if you've got time, you could check into either equations, but we'll just keep moving on. Okay, so now we're looking at quadratic equations. So we're looking at for 2 answers. So the first ones are pretty straightforward. When you're ready, have a go and then come back live when you're ready. Okay, so we've got two numbers multiplying to give 0. So that means that the first number is 0, 3x equals 0, which means that x equals 0. Or x plus 2 equals 0, which means that x equals minus 2. So our 2 answers are 0 and minus 2. Okay, we've got 2 numbers multiplying to give 0. So that means that the first equals 0. So 2m equals 5, m equals 5 on 2. Or the second one is 0, so 2m plus 3 equals 0. 2m equals minus 3. m equals minus 3 on 2. So our answers are 5 on 2 minus 3 on 2. Okay, you can save time. You can go straight from the bracket straight to the answer. It's quite easy. Just change the sign and divide by the coefficient. Okay, moving across. Okay, so a few more quadratic equations. The last one, you can use any technique that you like, but the first 2, hopefully, are pretty straightforward. Pause, and when you're ready, come back live. Okay, so we've got 5. We need to get rid of the 5, so we divide. So x squared equals 45 divided by 5, which is 9. And you take plus or minus the square root of 9, which is plus or minus 3. So they're your 2 answers. In the next one, we've got a squared perfect square. So x plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 49. So x plus 3 equals plus or minus 7. And then take the 3 across. So we've got x is minus 3 plus or minus 7. So our 2 answers are minus 3, so we can change colours, minus 3 plus 7. Minus 3 plus 7 equals 4, and minus 3 minus 7 is minus 10. So there's our 2 answers. Now in the last one, there's a multitude of techniques. I'll do completing the square and I'll do the brackets. So completing the square, you can do whatever technique you like. So we've got x squared plus 2x equals 24, and then x squared plus 2x. So we have to work out, so equals 24 still. And so change colours. So we're going to add 1 because we halve 2 and square it. So we add 1 on both sides. So the perfect square is x plus 1 squared equals 25, 24 plus 1. So x plus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 25, which is plus or minus 5. So x equals minus 1 plus or minus 5, which is 4 and negative 6. Minus 1 plus 5 is 4, minus 1 minus 5 is minus 6. The other way of doing it that you might like is what 2 numbers multiply to give minus 24 that add to give 2, and those 2 numbers are positive 6 and minus 4. 6 times minus 4 is minus 24, and those 2 numbers add to give 2. And so the answers are minus 6 and plus 4, which is the same answer. Okay, moving across. Okay, so we're doing some trigonometry, and just have a go at these. When you're ready, come back live. Just make sure your calculator's in degree mode. You need a D at the top of your calculator just in case someone's been playing with it. So cos 55 to 1 decimal place. Okay, so it's 0.573 ... and to 1 decimal place is 0.6. 3 times sine 61 equals 2.6238 ... and to 1 decimal place 2.6, and 4 divided by 10, 25 degrees, 17 minutes equals 8.4684 ... keep going. So the answer is 8.5. Okay. So now we have to go backwards. We have to find the values of theta. So we have to use our shift button or inverse button. Have a go. When you're ready, come back, and we're going to the nearest minutes. Okay, so theta equals cos minus 1, the inverse of cos, 0.26. So shift cos 0.26 clear. Shift cos 0.26 equals, so it's 74 degrees, 55 minutes and 47 seconds. So it's 74.56. You have to round up because there's 30 seconds, not 50 seconds in a minute. Okay, so next one, theta equals tan minus 1, 5.71. Okay, shift tan 5.71. So we get 80 degrees, 3 minutes, 59 seconds. So that's 80 degrees and 4 minutes. Okay, so what these numbers mean, just so you understand, like that 0.26 means, because we're looking at cos, that means the adjacent length divided by the hypotenuse length for a 74 degree triangle would be equal to 0.26. So that's what the 0.26 means. It's a ratio of the two lengths. Okay. Moving along. Okay, so we're going to do some triangle work. So the first two are finding x, and the next ones will be finding theta. So pause, and when you're ready, come back. Okay, first thing you need to do, you must label the sides. So that's opposite the angle, that's opposite the right angle, and the last side is the adjacent. So when you've got adjacent and opposite, you've got a tan question. So tan 41 equals opposite over adjacent. The x is on top, so therefore we do a multiply. So x will be 6 times tan 41, and we're going to 1 decimal place. 6 times tan 41, 5.215 meters. So to 1 decimal place, it's 5.2. Okay, label the sides. Hypotenuse, opposite the angle is the opposite, and the other side is the adjacent. So I've got opposite and hypotenuse, so I've got sine. So sine 35/10 equals opposite over hypotenuse. It's on the bottom, so therefore we have to divide. So x will be 5 divided by sine 35/10. 5 divided by sine 35 degrees, 10 minutes equals 8.681, and to 1 decimal place is 8.7, and we're in meters. Don't forget the units. Okay. Okay, next one is just find theta to the nearest degree. Okay, have a go. Okay, back live. So hypotenuse, opposite, and the last side is the adjacent. So I've got something on the hypotenuse and something on the adjacent, so I've got a cos question. So cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So theta equals cos minus 1/3/7. And we're going to nearest degree. So it's 64.6, so the answer is 65 degrees. Okay. Right now, looking at statistics now. We're about halfway through. Okay, so have a go. We're looking at mean, median, mode, and range. Okay. Right now, hopefully you've had a go. So fx means f times x. So 5 3s are 15, 6 1s are 6, 7 6s are 42, 8 5s are 40. And we add those numbers up to 8. 13 carry 1, 50, 90, 103. And CF means cumulative frequency, which we need for the median. So the first one comes across. And then after that, we just go 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15. So we should have 15 numbers, which 3, 4, 10, we've got 15 numbers. So that number there must match that number there. Okay, so you've done all the hard work. So mean is 103 over 15. 103 divided by 15. So mean is, I didn't give you any accuracy, so it's 6.87. The mode is the most popular score. That's the biggest frequency, so the mode is 7. The range is easy to do. That's just the highest score minus the lowest score, so the range is 3. So the median is the hard one. So there's two ways of doing it. The really simplest way is just write out the scores again. So you got 5, 5, 5, 6, and then you got 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, and then 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Okay, so we've got 15, which is an odd number, which means there'll be one middle. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. So the middle is 7. Or the quick way to do it is to look at this number again. So the middle of 15 scores will be the 8th score. So we've got 3 scores, 4 scores, 10 scores. So the 8th score must be one of these scores, which is a 7. But you can do it that way. Just write out the scores and then just do the cross-out method. Okay, moving on. Okay, find the 5-point summary and draw a box and whiskers plot diagram to represent this. Okay, so when you're ready, have a go. Okay, so first thing we do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've got 11 scores. So we do have one middle. Okay, so the middle will be the 6th score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that score is the Q2. Okay, and then going backwards, we've got 5 scores. So the middle of 5 is that one there. So that'll be Q1. And going forward, the middle of 5 is that one there. So that'll be Q3. So the 5-point summary, the lowest score is 2. Q1, 3. Q2, the median, 5. Q3 is 8. And the highest score is 10. And just in case you're interested, Q3 minus Q1 equals the interquartile range. And so that would be 8 minus 3. So the interquartile range is 5. But we'll just do a quick diagram. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 3, 5, and 8. 3, 5, and 8. So that becomes our box. And then our whisker joins the box to the top and to the bottom. And we're done. Okay, so Q3 minus Q1, that's called the interquartile range. That wasn't asked for, but this is your 5-point summary there. Okay, moving on. Okay, for the stem and leaf, find the mode and the median and the range. Okay, have a go when you're ready. Okay, the mode is the score that occurs the most. There's the most number, so the mode will be 52, not 2, because there's a stem. Okay, no other number occurs more than that times, like there's 2 there, but 3 beats that. I'll do the range next because that's pretty straightforward. The highest score is 78. The lowest score is 30, so the range is just 48. And to find the median, which is a bit harder, we need to know how many scores we've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the middle of 15 will be the 8th score. And so just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the median is 52. Okay. Okay, so now we've got word problems, and we've still got about 6 pages to go. So these are all just applications. Okay, so these are the ones a little bit harder. When you're ready, have a go at the first one. Okay, so it's assumption, the ground is flat, the tree grows up, the sun shines up there. So the shadow is lying on the ground, and that's where the 2 meters is. That's the right angle. Okay, and we're trying to find the height of the tree, which is that distance there, and the angle of elevation is the angle looking up, and the angle of elevation is 61 degrees. So marking the sides, so we've got opposite, hypotenuse, opposite the right angle, and adjacent. So we've got opposite and adjacent, so we've got tan because there's nothing on the hypotenuse. So tan 61 equals opposite over adjacent. It's on top, so therefore we multiply. So x equals 2 times tan 61, 2 times tan 61. So we get 12.387, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't have any accuracy, so we can do whatever we like. So the answer is 12.4 meters to 1 decimal place. But you'll be told how accurate to do. Okay, moving on. Okay, so this one's a bit harder. This is a quadratic. Because we've got t times t, we're going to have t squared. Okay, so we've got a quadratic expression. So these are hard. And again, these are the ones that don't necessarily have to do them. You know, if you can do that'd be great. Pause, and when you're ready, come back live. Okay, so the first thing is the ground is defined as the height equals 0. So 0 equals t bracket 20 minus t. So we've got a quadratic with 2 things multiplying to 0. So the first thing must be 0, or the second thing must be 0, which means we've got 20, and the units are seconds. So the rocket's on the ground at the start and after 20 seconds. Okay, find the height after a few seconds. That's the substitution. So height equals 2 times 20 minus 2 equals 2 times 18. So the rocket is at 36 meters. Units is meters, so it's not going very high. Okay, and the last one, at what time is the height 75? So 75 equals t bracket 20 minus t. Now, you can't solve an equation that equals 75. You have to make it equal to 0. So let's expand out. So we've got 20t minus t squared. Now, t squared's negative, so take it all to one side. So now t squared turns into plus. 20t turns into minus. 75 hasn't moved. Okay, so this is when you've got any technique you want to do. Quickest way is just to put into brackets 2 numbers that multiply to 75 that add to minus 20. The 2 numbers are 5 and 15. So the answers are 5 seconds and 15 seconds. So this, it's going to hit 75 meters at 5 seconds when it's going up, and on the way down it's going to be at 15 seconds. Obviously you could use completing the square method as well. So I'll just do that really quickly if I can. So I've got t squared minus 20t equals minus 75. T squared minus 20t. So the number, half that number is minus 10. So square it, you get 100. So I get minus 75 plus 100. So the bracket is t minus 10 squared. That equals 25. So t minus 10 equals plus or minus the square root of 25, which is plus or minus 5. So the answer is 10 plus or minus 5, which is the 15 and 5 again. Okay. Moving on. Okay, this is simultaneous equations. 3 movies plus 4 CDs cost 145. 2 movies plus 1 CD cost 55. Form simultaneous equations and solve to find the cost of each. Pause and come back when you're ready. Okay, so you must define, let the cost of a movie be something, so I'll just call it X. Let the cost of a CD be Y. So 3x plus 4y equals 145. 2x plus y equals 55. Now you can use whatever technique you like. I'm going to do elimination. Okay, it doesn't matter which method you do. So that's 1, that's 2. So from I said, oh no, I'm going to do elimination. I said not substitution. So, just dropped my pen. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate y because otherwise I'd have to get up to 6x. So first equation's okay. Second equation, I need to have a 4, so I'm going to multiply everything by 4. So 4 2s are 8x plus 4y. 4 50s are 200, so it's 220. So that's equation 3. So I'm looking at equation 1 and equation 3, and I'm going to subtract to get rid of y because I've got 4y and 4y, and I'm going to subtract equation 3 minus equation 1 so I can get positives. So 8 minus 3 is 5x. 4y minus 4y is gone. 220 minus 45, 55 equals 75. So x equals 75 divided by 5 equals $25, so x is 25. We don't know it's dollars yet. Let's just make it 25. Therefore, y, we'll have to sub it into something, so let's rub that out. So we'll sub that into number 2. So 2x equals 50 plus y equals 55. And so 50 goes across, becomes a 5. So finish it with the word question answer. What cost of movie is 25. Cost of a CD is 5. Okay. Okay, so this one's a word question with statistics. So here you go. We've only got 3 or 4 more slides to go and we're done. Okay, so we've got 10 scores averaging 50. So that means that the total of those scores equals 10 times 50 equals 500. So we don't know what each person got, but we know they add up to 500. Now when another 10 scores comes in, the total is 55. So we've got 20 scores averaging 55. So the total equals 20 times 55 equals, so we don't know what the scores are, but we know they add up to 1110. So that means that the last 10 people scored the difference, so that's 600. So that means that their average was 60. Okay, a little bit harder, but hopefully you understood that. Okay, if a number's doubled then added to its square, so it's going to be a quadratic. Once we've got squares, the result is 24. There are 2 answers, form quadratic and find the numbers. Okay, couple of pages to go. Okay, so we say let the number be something, so I always say x. So a number's doubled, that means 2x, and then added to its square, and the result is 24. Okay, so we've got a quadratic, and we can't solve quadratics if they equal numbers. So we bring the 24 back, and then change this order back to normal order. So x squared plus 2x minus 24 equals 0. So you've got a multitude of techniques, and I'm going to put into brackets. So we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to minus 24 that add to 2. So the numbers are positive 6 and minus 4. And so the numbers are minus 6 and positive 4. Find the numbers. The numbers are -6 and 4. Both those numbers work. Okay, this is a little bit harder. Second last page. So find sine theta. So sine theta is 3/5. Draw a triangle to represent this ratio. Find the value of cos. Okay, so I'll just get you started. So there's theta. That's the opposite, which is 3. That's the hypotenuse, which is 5. So you got to use Pythagoras to find the missing side, and then you'll have tan, cos. Okay, so call this x. So we've got a short side, so it's going to be subtract 5 squared minus 3 squared. 25 minus 9 equals 16. So x equals square root of 16 equals 4. And you might have recognized that 3, 4, 5 triangle again. You've done those a few times. And then cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. And we're done. Okay, I think we're up to the last page. Okay, it's a linear equation because we've got t to the power of 1. So distance from home is given by d equals t plus 5t. D equals in kilometres, t is in hours. So find your distance initially after 3 hours, and when, what time will you be 11 kilometres from home, or when will you be at home? Okay, here we go. So initially means time equals 0 at the start of time. So d equals 2 plus 5 times 0. So initially you are 2 kilometres from home. Okay, this one says t equals 3 straight away. So we've got 2 plus 5 times 3 equals 2 plus 15. So after 3 hours you are 17 kilometres from home. Okay, so I think the formula is d equals 2 plus 5t. Let's bring it down a bit. Okay, when will you be 11 kilometres from home? So 11 is the distance, equals 2 plus 5t. Take the 2 across, so 9 equals 5t. So t equals 9 on 5 hours, or the decimal equivalent, 1.8 hours. Okay, when will you be at home? Well, if you're at home, then the distance would be 0. So 0 equals 2 plus 5t. Take the t across. So minus 2 equals 5t. You divide by that, which means you'll never be at home. There is no negative time. So you will never be home. Trick question. Okay, I think that's our last question. So hopefully you got something out of it. See you next time.